Yes. Good aft- Good evening, guys. Wherever you're watching us from. I'm Adi. I've got Nick. Nick is not currently here, but the shows have to go on. I've got staff. I've got I've got certified on here. We are here to talk about Chelsea as always. Wherever you're watching from around the world, we're here to talk about Chelsea Leeds. What actually happened in the game. We're gonna analyze every single thing in the game. Please, before we start, I would like everyone to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be having more of this. Um, come much more games to come. Yeah. So I would like to talk to staff first. Staff, how are you doing? What's up with you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Being an old timer like Nick, yesterday's results not that much of a shock. I mean, I'm not going to say I saw it coming or I thought it would happen, but um, I've become into it and I just accept it. Win, lose or draw. I can discuss it, but it's not going to change my life, is it? So it changes nobody's life. Just getting angry all the time. But yeah, I'll discuss it. Um, Unlike Nick, I'm not ill. I think he's had too much barbecue. See, separate barbecues, it's all meat, chicken, pork, and lamb. And if you don't treat it right, it don't treat you right. So I think that's where Nick got it from. Um, and I think some of our players, just to be controversial, are not being treated right. And I'm seeing the first sign, not the first, I've seen it earlier, but I'm seeing concrete signs now that a lot of the players um, are not believing in Tuchel's system or his tactics, and I think we're on a slippery slope unless he changes things. I mean, like for example, played Conor Gallagher as a six. He's not a six, right? He's got Billy Gilmore, um, Ethan Ampadu, probably sitting in the stands kicking their heels because they ain't got squad numbers. Both, both perfect. If you only played two sixes, right, you could have played Ampadu as the Jorginho one, and you could have given Billy a bit more license because he's okay moving the ball forward as well. But no, let's leave them in the stand. Let's not use them. Don't give them squad numbers. And then on top of that, he's going into the media and saying that midfield's not a problem. It's not a problem unless you're playing two DMs in this or two sixes, however you want to describe it. That's when it becomes a problem, especially when you haven't got a one to start with. And the three you do have and you see playing those roles, right, are not DMs. And Jorginho's too lightweight, got exposed yesterday, and he's been found out already. 3 games in, and he's been found out, right? And then he's playing people out of position. I knew from day one that when said he was bringing Conor Gallagher back, that he was going to stick him in as a six, right? Jorginho, Kante, if they're not about, forget that system. We had the same nonsense last year when we didn't have wing backs, but because he wanted to play the system, he played everybody wingers as wing backs and that, right? And it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. Change the system. If the players aren't available, change the system. Don't force somebody to play out position because that's how you cheese them off. So if I'm sounding a bit cheesed off, I am because he's starting to lose the dressing room, right? And it's only himself to blame. If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up, but I believe I'm right. I believe that he's losing that dressing room slowly but surely. Right? I mean, okay, you can't legislate for someone like Koulibaly being an idiot and making the same offence twice. You can't think about Mendy making that mistake, other than to tell him put it in the stand, right? Mendy's doing that because we've been told to play out from the back. If the three centre backs are too far up the pitch, right, that's what's going to happen. We're getting caught out, and the players are starting to lose belief in Tuchel and the system. That's just my opinion. So, anyway, I'll let you have a word, and then I'll come back in a bit.
Oh yeah, you heard it from staff. Change the system. He's talking about Tuku changing the system. Yeah, I think I would have to agree. To what staff just said. If you can't get the players you want, you have to adapt to the ones you have. You can't keep playing these guys out of their position. It is not fair. It is not fair. It is not fair. The system has been compromised with what we saw. You can't play back three with having Jorginho to cover for your four. No, no, it is not possible. It is not possible. I watched the match. I was so pissed off. I was so pissed off. But whatever way, I'm glad we got exposed early. I'm so glad we got exposed early. This is there's still a way out. The transfer window is still open, and to could easily learn from this. I agree with Steph. I agree with Steph. I agree with him. I want to welcome Dex, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Oh,
show.
cheers, Dave.
Welcome
Thank you
to
very
Dex.
much. Thank
You're,
you.
you're, you're welcome, Dex. Then satisfied. How are you doing today? I
I'm
want you to
doing
talk to the
good,
light.
bro. How about
I
you?
want you.
You alright?
I'm good. I'm good. After yesterday horrible display, I'm fine today. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Talk.
Can I just say something here, right?
All right.
Um, it's not a surprise to me, right? People like me and Nick, we've seen us concede 7 goals away from home. Like my first ever live game that I actually went to, we lost 7-2 at Middlesbrough because that's where I grew up. So can you imagine me going to school on a Monday morning after we've lost 7-2, right? So I'm not surprised that we lost, but that squad should not be losing that game by that many. You look at the work rate, the amount of running they put in, right? They ran 5 kilometres more than us in the first half. By the end of the game, they'd ran 11 kilometres more than us, right? Which means they worked a lot harder. For me, players who don't feel comfortable in their positions, who don't feel happy, are not going to run for the manager. Right? This isn't Mourinho, where the players loved him and would run through a wall for him. Right? This is Thomas Tuchel, and he has previous at PSG. He lost the dressing room there. You might have every manager has maybe 5, 6 players who will stick by him no matter what. But once you start losing the majority of that team, any team, wherever you are, then you're in trouble. And I'll go back to the pre-season, right? He took Billy Gilmore to the US. The kid's got it. You just have to show belief in him. You have to show trust in him. Took him to the US, and after 5 days, he sent him off to the under 23s, right? Which means he didn't take him to have a proper look at him, right? So that he could see if he can do the job or not. And the Norwich loan was his choice because he wanted to help his mate Farker out, right? And he sent him to Norwich. And he was 19 when he got there. He's not going to 19 going on to 20. He's not going to keep a team like that up on his own because no matter how good you are, if the players in that team are not on the same wavelength as you don't go for the passes that he's playing, right? Because you don't have the understanding of what he's trying to do. And to blame that kid, take him all the way to America, and after 5 days, basically kick him into touch. And it was reported that a lot of the senior players were surprised and shocked at his treatment. Right now, some of those players have grown up with Billy. Right, don't forget Billy played for Lampard, so some of them have played with Billy. They've had him at the training ground, right, all this time. And you just can't do that to players. You have to treat the players with some respect. And the way he's treated him and Ethan Ampadu really riles me. I don't care whether individual fans think they're good enough or they're not good enough or any of that stuff, right? You give them a fair crack of the whip, right? Ampadu, he's a full international, for Christ's sake, and has been for nearly 4 years now, right? Just trust in these guys. And we're going out, we bought Hutchinson from Arsenal, who our academy dumped before, right? But he's one for the future. Even Chukwuemeka, right? He wasn't getting in on a regular basis for Leicester, was he? And yet he is a talent. He's possibly England's best talent, right? But he's not the type of coach who's going to throw him in. Surely, right, when we were like being overrun and being outrun, surely someone like Chukwuemeka, right, should have been sent on to add some drive to the attack, right? That's what he's supposed to be good at. But he doesn't trust young players. Just because we've signed that guy doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of games. Same with Brozier. He sent him on the other week, right? What, for 15, 20 minutes, playing out wide. He has to stop this nonsense. Players have a position, stick to their positions. You adapt your system to the players you have available and to their strengths. This is a German system, right? Dex will know this, right? But Klopp doesn't play it. Even Klopp doesn't play that system, right? Pep's been in Germany with Bayern. He doesn't play that system. It's not workable for the Premier League. And yes, on Saturday, right, he did it against the coach who knows him, right? Because the guy, I forgot his name now, Marsh, right? He was Leipzig's coach, and he's trying to play a system that Marsh knows full well how to counter. And these are silly little errors, management errors. We can attack the players, say he didn't do this properly. I can attack Mendy, say he didn't do that properly. But if Tuchel wants Mendy to play it out from the back, and the three centre halves are too far forward, right, and the midfielders, two DMs, have pushed a bit further up, he's got no one to play it to, right? Same thing happened with Aspie at Everton. It becomes indecisive, and you're going to errors, right? Yeah, in our day, right, and in Dexter's as well, probably, right? You just got told, put it in the stand, right? But now it's played out from the back, and all these coaches want you to play out from the back. If you're going to play out from the back, I can blame Mendy, but then the centre half should have dropped in and gave him that option to play it out, right? But Reece James playing as a right centre back, he's not going to think of things like that because he's a right back or a right wing back, and he's not going to think like a centre back, is he? And make himself available. It's too hodgepodge, too many round pegs on square holes, or the other way around, right? And I am getting frustrated with Tuchel, right? And the fact that they want to give him a 2-year extension worries me, because this guy is not changing. People, I was watching another stream today. People are saying when he gets his players, he's got 3, and he played 3 of them, right, the other day, right? He played the 3, and they were just as bad, right? They didn't play up to the standard that they did against Tottenham. How many players does he have to sign, right, before they become his team? You adapt to your team's strengths. That's what you do, right? You don't like force players to play into a system, right? And you look at Klopp, and you look at Pep. They've gone out and bought strikers, right? Battering rams. They've bought normal strikers. We don't have that, and the one we do have, if he puts him on, he puts him out wide. This has to stop. He's either a serious coach who can adapt to his league, or he's not. So, anyway, I'm talking too much, and I'm stopping other people. I'd like to hear what Dex has to say, to be honest. Liverpool fan outsider. see what his view is.
All right, stuff. Nice one from you. Satisfied. Before Dex go on, I think satisfied will come in, but I want to welcome
Yeah.
Tax Taxgi. Sorry for that pronunciation. Taxgi. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. Nick is not currently available, but we're gonna do the show anyway. You know, let's just hope it gets better soon. Certified. What do you have to say about the Chelsea versus Leeds game? I knew you watched that game. I want to get what you have to say about it. Then Dex can come in afterwards.
Well, I didn't really watch the game on Sunday, but I did come home, watch the highlights, and then today, this morning, I watched the full game again. So everything that Stav said was right, was true, and is what I've been saying a lot. I mean, a lot, even throughout the preseason and throughout the first three games. I'm not a big fan of Tuchel's football, and it's not even that. It's getting found out, and the fact that he doesn't want to change is very worrying, in my opinion. That's the thing, and he better be careful because we're already seeing signs that he's not going to change. As in him coming out in press conferences, embarrassing us, saying, "Oh, it's not the way how Leeds, is not the fact the way Leeds play, or we could easily press. Oh, people running around the pitch doesn't make this." That was the most embarrassing words I've ever heard come from a manager. So salty. You cannot take your own accountability just like a big manager does. It's embarrassing. You cannot say that, bro. You got outclassed. Take it. Next time, go in and change your tactics, bro. You know that players there are not comfortable in their position. You can't be playing the 3-4-3 all the time. You need to have back three at the back all the time. You need to have options. If you know you don't have the players to play in a system that you want to change to, spend weeks training on that system. Just like what the big teams do, City and Liverpool. That's what they do. When City want to change the way they play to play a certain team to accommodate their style of play to win the game, they train on it. Kevin De Bruyne came out and said it. Pep stops training for 10 minutes. He watches and analyzes how this team plays, and then they go and train on it. Why don't we do that? And we're expected to challenge for the title, and Tuchel does not want to change. We all understand we need to give Tuchel time, but then if you look at it, this is the time we need to look up to him. Who was in charge of the transfers? Him. He wasn't bringing them in, but he was telling Bowley, whoever I want, go get. How can you not say we don't need a midfield? We do need a midfielder, really. Do you get what I'm saying? You can't be happy with the midfielders you have. Each midfielder of ours adapt to certain qualities. Some counter-attacking like Gallagher and Mason Mount, and some just possessive and defensive. Jorginho. Do you get what I'm saying? Why don't you just get the whole team together in training instead of doing these stupid basketball drills in training? Why don't you not get the team together and practice on the system you would like to adapt on? I know you have not got your full signings, but you have got signings that can help these players or what you want to play. Sterling and Kukurea and Koulibaly, those are your players. You can still train them. You can still train the others to do what you want. We can all say it's the players, yes, the mentality is there, but it looks like Tuchel could lose the dressing room in the future, and that's where he could lose his job. Tuchel's job is at stake because him coming out being salty looks like he's not going to change that his football is perfect. It's really not. It's for a German league, bro. You don't play this football in you don't play this football in the Premier League. This is not German football where you get players that are not comfortable playing for the first time, sit there and then they adapt straight away like Bayern Munich. Like unlike Bayern Munich, they can play someone anywhere and they can still perform because that league's wide open. The Prem doesn't allow you to do that. We all say that our wingers, our left wingers, we have to make our attack rate. what's the point if the whole system is based off our wing backs doing all the work? Where does that leave the attackers? We all say our attack is bad, but what the attackers probably think they have no role. Yet the wing backs have to do everything, and I know that's what Tuchel's telling them, and it's annoying. I think Tuchel he just better pattern up because I can see this guy. The fans are gonna turn on him. I mean, they are going to turn on him because there's no excuses for not blaming Tuchel. He's got the players he wants. He still has 9 days. He's about to get Aubameyang. He's got youth like Chukwemeka and what's this guy's name from Italy? I think Seda or something. Begin with. He's got these two. But if you know you're not gonna get in the players you want, and like for example, you're targeting the centre backs. Why why are you letting Ethan Ampadu go? There were rumours that Chalobah was going as well. Why? You're making things hard for yourself, Tuchel. Why do you, I understand that they're too young, but Chalobah's been playing in your starting 11 since throughout your whole, and you want to let him go. What is the plan here? Because I really don't see. Normally, with managers, when they start building a process like Tuchel, bringing in players, we can already see what he's trying to do. But right now, I don't really see what's going on because things haven't improved from last season. There's no excuses for now. From now, there's no excuses. We really need to question him because this is what's been happening in pre-season, and we were told it will all get better, but it hasn't gotten better. We're seeing Jorginho getting targeted every single game, and Tuchel has not realised this. With other managers, even Lampard has dropped Jorginho. Why do you think Lampard never played Jorginho? Jorginho was not in his plans. Because he knows he gets targeted, he's too slow. Do you get what I'm saying? Why doesn't Tuchel have? Because let me tell you why he doesn't. He does have the urgency to drop players, and when he knows they're dog crap, because he thinks this is the German league. This is where it is. This is not This is not German league, bro. This is the Prem. Teams are going to continue non-stop. If they can find, if they can see a weakness in your team, they're going to continue to exploit it and exploit it and exploit it until it gets bad. Do you feel me? Because this is oh, honestly, I mean, he has the guts to come out and say when players run and press like no other's business, of course it's going to look like they're playing well. All because they run doesn't mean they have no passion, bro. You've just got outclassed. That's all. Just say it, bro. You were dead, bro. Your tactics were crap. Your players on the pitch didn't turn up. Simple. You're losing the dressing room. That's the reality, bro. Don't come out blame Jesse Marsh. Oh, the player when he makes players run, of course it's gonna look like they have mentality when we were stronger. No. And this is not the only time. There was also a rumor today that on One Football, I'll go send it to everyone on the DMs. Apparently, he was blaming the travel schedule for our Leeds loss. Too many blaming from last season. He blamed the pitch from last season. He also blamed what's it called, the AC of the plane giving players colds. Oh my days! How many of these excuses are we gonna get from this guy? He's making us a laughing stock every week with these excuses. Honestly. Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm pissed, man.
All right, sir. Fine. Nice one from you. Well said and well heard. I think Tuku needs to do something very fast. A change needs to be made very fast as soon as possible. Let's see what happens. Dex, are you there? I guess Liverpool is having a match soon. Let's hear from Dex.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the game starts in 30 half an hour's time. So, yeah, I watched the game yesterday. I have to say I was very surprised of how the game went. Obviously, Leeds are a team in good form. They play a good style of football, especially at home. They've been very, very well. But when I watched Chelsea throughout the whole game, I don't know what it was. I can't really put my finger on it. It looked like they were really like lethargic and really slow. Like their build-up play and their overall like passage play was so slow and build-ups. And even at times when they were forward, they would get into situations where they'd be in the final third and like they wouldn't like make a direct run at a player or try to take somebody on or get crosses in the box. And even when they did, like mainly Cucurella was the only person in there, but then most of his shots, because he's not a forward, all of his shots went over the goal, like over the bar. So that's where you need your forward players in there, like the likes of Havertz, Sterling. They're in that formation to get into the box and get on the end of chances and half chances as well. Leeds for me, I feel like they pressed Chelsea really well throughout the whole game. The thing we got on Sam Leeds play a sort of similar style to us. They're very high pressing, very attacking minded footballing team. And when you're playing away at Ellen Road, you need to get you need to get on the ball and get at them from the very first minute. And I felt like Chelsea, they kind of like just turn up and thought, oh, this is going to be a show in the park for us. Like we'll just keep the ball around the back and they won't press us or anything. They'll give us plenty of time. That wasn't the case though. When Leeds are at Ellen Road, the crowd get behind them, and this is what people don't tend to understand. Football crowds is the 12th man in football. They are. The fans play a massive part in the team's performance, especially when they're at home. Everyone says about like Anfield and that. Like when Liverpool play at Anfield, the 12th man's important. Same with Leeds. Like Leeds fans were roaring and shouting throughout the whole game. They never stopped, and I felt that they play a massive part. And the first goal, like, I don't have to get started on the first goal. Like, I thought for a moment Mendy turned into Stefansson for the old Man City goalkeeper when he played against us in the FA Cup when he made that mistake for Mane. I thought I was seeing a reincarnation. Like I don't know what he was doing. If you're a goalkeeper, why on earth would you hold on to the ball that long? Leeds are going to press high. Just get the ball out. Even if it goes out for a throw, just get it out of there. Any top goalkeeper would do the same. Just get rid of it. You're just going to cost your team, and he did. He held on too long, tried to be a bit too clever, and Leeds punished them. And I felt when that first goal went in, the Chelsea players' heads went down right from that start, went down, and that set the tempo for the whole game. And Chelsea just couldn't get into that rhythm all game. They couldn't get into that rhythm, and that's why Leeds had so much joy getting into the final third, making passes. Like Conor Gallagher, don't get me wrong, I do rate Conor Gallagher, but he yesterday when I was watching him, he looked like a player that was like in a shell. That he wasn't the same player that he was at Palace. Obviously, the main reasons why Palace have played different styles to Chelsea. I just think Conor Gallagher, for me, I don't think he suits Chelsea's style of play. I'm going to be really brutally honest. I think he was better off staying at Palace. Do you know what I mean? If anyone thinks I'm wrong, then please jump in and say I'm wrong. But I think most of you guys can understand that Conor Gallagher, for me, I just don't think he suits the way the Tuga wants to play. And I think he's just better off going to another club or going back to Palace even, because that's where he was suited best. That's what made him like well known in the Prem in that season when he was playing for Palace. Do you know what I mean? And I think with Chelsea now, it tends to look like that. Tuchel needs to understand two things. You're either gonna buckle your ideas up and change something, because at the moment nothing's getting changed. I know they're trying to get players in, but you're playing Reece James in the three of the back when Reece James playing in the three. It cuts out everything he can do in a game at fullback. Cuts out everything. He's no good at the back. He's not. He's better on the right wing, on the right wing back role, because when he plays there, that's playing to Reece James' strength, his deliveries, his attacking play, his link ups down the byline, getting at players, everything. That's what makes him what he's good at. But if you're playing him at the back, again, that played a major factor because no offense to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I know he did well against Spurs in that role, but ideally, you can't expect him to be there every single game because he's not used to playing there. He's a midfielder. He's used to playing in the middle, and he got absolutely bullied. To be honest, he got absolutely bullied on that right side. I kind of felt sorry for him in a way. Do you know what I mean? But if you're going to play players out of position, you're expecting them to do a job. It's going to cost you some point down the line. It is because you can't expect every single player to do a job there. Like, this is what Tuchel needs to understand. If you're going to play players out of position, you're expecting to do a job there. Then he's very stupid-mindedly stubborn to do that. That was a major part why Chelsea lost. And the striker thing, I said it time and time again. Chelsea do need that number 9. Again, I saw a lot of balls in that box that even the chances that was given, and the fact that none of them were on target or weren't testing the keeper because there's no striker up there. You need that striker up there. Hopefully, Aubameyang. I'm hearing that he's close to joining. If they get him in, great. You've got a well-proven number 9 that will get you goals in the Prem, who's a goal-scoring Premier League striker that will get you goals because that's what you need. You need someone in that final third in the box to get on things and get on the crosses and get goals. Obviously, it's not a long-term solution, but hey-ho, you just got to go with what you got, right? And go next summer and see who's available. But yeah, no, I feel with Chelsea, I don't know. It's a very worrying time. Maybe it's one of those Premier League early starts, slow starts. You never know. They might come good again. But again, from what I saw yesterday's game at Leeds, it's a very worrying sight. And it's becoming a bit of a pattern. It happened at Spurs. It's happened at Leeds. Do you know what I mean? It's becoming a bit of a regular thing, and Tuchel needs to find solutions and fast because if it carries on like this, then the top 4 in particular, it'll be very hard for Chelsea. So he needs to get on it really. But that's all I've got to say on my part.
Oh, all right. All right. Dex, nice one from you. You know, you made a point which is very great. You said Gallagher might not be a Chelsea player because of Tuchel system, but I want you to know nobody fits into Tuchel system for now, aside from Jorginho and Kovacic. Those players are not doing well in their positions, even out of their positions. I will leave the rest to Tasker G, rather. I would like to hear your take from yesterday's match.
Hey yo, finally. What's up, Magnificent? Hey, is it Steve or Staff? Hey Dex. Shout out to Nick Blue. Shout out to Bujo. I hope all of you doing well. Yeah. Basically, I've been saying it, you know what I mean? I've been saying it for a couple of a whole lot of spaces actually on Twitter Spaces. I've been saying it. I said we're gonna get cooked this season, guys. We're gonna get cooked, and you know the loyal Chelsea fans. They said, "Hey, yo, man, this is preseason. It's not gonna be like this, that, and the third." But I know my team, man. I could see the DNA that deep down we losers, man. We losers. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it to try to like discourage and just bring a whole lot of negativity. It's just basically we don't do the simple things. We don't do the simple things. You know what I mean? We didn't do the simple things in preseason, and it was just the same as for last season. You know what I mean? So regarding the game, um well, basically, I wanted to like speak for like 2-3 minutes, bounce some questions off you guys, but I might be pressed for time, so I might be a little long winded. But yeah, basically, I've been saying it for some time. I've been saying that, hey yo, we need a new goalkeeper. I mentioned it sometime. I said, listen, Mendy has to go. Not like from being number one, but to be number two. You know what I mean? He had a good run. He's not been in good form for a while now. He's not been in good form for a while now, and it just proves it. It just proves he doesn't look confident at all. I'm not sure. Probably because Petr Cech left. You know what I mean? He left. Maybe he was like a figure of confidence or something. I mean, we cannot forget that these people are human beings, right? And I'd like to touch on a point that Dex say that we need a proper striker. That's absolutely spot on. As you can see in brackets, I've written Ronaldo. We need this guy. I don't want Aubameyang personally because Aubameyang, um, he, I think he'll do better on the wings. He definitely do better on the wings. Even for us at Chelsea, yes, he scores goals, but this man, he needs to be on the wings. He can do a fantastic job there. Um,
Tasker,
in
can I
terms
ask you
of,
a quick question? Sorry to interrupt you, but can I just ask you a quick question?
all right, cool.
Points of the striker thing. Do you know, and this is why I think Chelsea are number 9, do you know that Chelsea have scored overall so far this season 3 goals in their first 3 games?
Oh, true, true, true,
That's worrying. For a top side, that is very worrying. That's why they need a striker up there.
true.
So
Oh yeah, yeah, no, true, true, true. I definitely agree with you. I'm just like personal preference. You know what I mean? I'll definitely want to see a striker like Ronaldo. For sure, Aubameyang will bag in the goals. No disrespect on his name. Um, Personally, for me, I would want Ronaldo. He's all about goals. He can head them in. He can score all types of goals. He's the real deal. In terms of Chelsea's play versus Leeds, and again, Dex, you're absolutely right. From the get go, when Mendy made that mistake, everything went downhill. It went downhill. And one thing that I just like to mention is that in terms of our playing style, this system of us playing two midfielders and hoping for I don't know what the heck we're trying to hope for, but we can't play a two-man midfield anymore. 3-4-3 is not the way to go. We're getting exposed. It's hard to play from the back. Transitions, yes, we're not getting caught out all the time, but at the same time, we're not making the most of everything. And it's kind of sad because we can't play a back four. We need a Virgil van Dijk type of defender, kind of like Dex. What you guys have, uh, uh, a defender who can actually step up, intercept, step up, win the ball, and that's only what we can get in Wesley Fofana. You know what I mean? Wesley Fofana is the only type of guy who can give us that allowance to play a back four. You know what I mean? You can pair him up with anyone. Um, what's his name? Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, take your pick. He's gonna do a job for us. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? The game. Oh yeah, concerning Gallagher, you guys touched on a lot of good points. I'm just trying to recall. Concerning Gallagher, yes, I do think that he's a world class player. I don't think that it'll be kind of harsh if we judge him solely on this game, on this match, considering that a lot of players in this current system are not playing well. It'll be hard to judge him harshly to say that he's not a right fit for Chelsea. Basically, anyone who's not N'Golo Kante next to Jorginho will suffer. I've said it time and time again. They will suffer. They will not have a good game, guys. And Gallagher, for me, he almost had an assist, man. He almost had an assist, but yeah, it didn't work out. Um, it happens, but I do think that he's a quality player. I think give him a few games, a few more games, let him get into his stride. He's a person. Um, Never underestimate that he's not having emotions. Also, um, the weight of playing for your childhood club. And yeah, Tuchel made a big mistake, playing Jorginho. The guy gets pressed. Another fantastic point by you guys. He gets pressed all day long, and it kind of sucks because Tuchel is not the type of guy who, if you make a mistake, he will like sub you out. Like quickly or reactionary. He's not the type of manager. He kind of like pragmatic. He like sticks to his, you know what I mean, to his plan. Basically, he sticks to his plan. He sticks to his data and whatnot. That's sometimes that's kind of boring. Yeah. What else can I say? Nah. Let me not hog the mic too long. But yeah, there is something wrong with Chelsea in terms of Tuchel. He's planning. He definitely needs to. Um, he needs to change it up, man. This guy needs to change it up. We're getting exposed time and time again. Um, we need to play a three-man midfield. You know what I mean? Pair Mount, Gallagher, and all the hot shots. Put Gil, put, put what's his name, Billy Gilmore in there. Let him do his thing, man. I mean, let him do his thing. He's a quick passer of the ball. He passes the ball up front a lot of times. A lot of times, you know what I mean? He's press resistant. I mean, yes, it's a hard time, but at the same time, the guy is not willing to change. I mean, and to a certain extent, I don't want to blame the manager because he sees that with the type of defenders we got, playing a back three is the way forward. Unfortunately, so there's not much we can do about that. So hopefully, hopefully, guys, I think when we get Wesley Fofana, we're gonna see if we still maintain that back three or what, because I think we can make it without a proper DM. We've suffered ever since Matic left. It's been the same even now. Sometimes N'Golo Kante is superhuman, but we can't rely on him alone. We need a proper system, and we don't have the players for it. But yeah, Tuchel, I think he should be a bit more flexible. He's a flexible manager, but I want to see him be a bit more flexible to see the type of players that he has and utilize them in the best possible way in terms of formation, in terms of strategy. Putting Gallagher in there was not the best idea. I mean, not because he's not capable, but just that you're trying to force a situation. You know what I mean? Like Dex said, he said what Jorginho and Kovacic, that chemistry was the one. That's what works. And yeah, with Gallagher for that game, not really the best thing, but um, yeah, there's no reason for us to play with wingers when our wingers are dead food. I mentioned it the last time. Our wingers, guys, are dead food. They are dead food. We can't. Why should we play with wingers when our fullbacks are the most creative? We should definitely. I think 3-5-2 will be the formation of the future, definitely for us. And yeah, magnificent. I use the mic, man. Yeah.
All right. Nice one from you, Tax Guy. Um, nice one from every lad here. What I'm worried about. Let me go straight to the comments. Tibago asked a question here. He said, "When we play 4-3-3, we are bad too. I feel like we need defensive midfielder to protect our defense." What do you think about this statement? This is a very sensitive issue here. I could remember the first time Tuku switched to a back four. We had defensive crisis. We were letting goals in. Do you think we switching back to 4-3-3 won't still be the same problem we're facing? Is it that the players aren't good enough, or Tuku isn't good enough for the team? We need answers to all these questions. We need answers. So I'll go with Staff. Staff, what do you think about this statement?
Yeah, listen, right. The excuse used to be that we can't play a back four because it doesn't suit Rudiger. He's gone. End of story. And where's he gone? Real Madrid. And what's he playing at Real Madrid when he's not warming the bench up? He's playing in the four. All these players are internationals. They should be able to play in a four or a three, right? I'm sorry, but there's no reason to say we can't play back four. We play with a three because Tuchel wants to play with a three. It's a German system. You go and check on Saturday all the German games, and about 50% of them will be playing that system. and I'll guarantee you that nearly 50% of them will lose, right? Leipzig play that system, they got beat. Yeah. Frankfurt played, they get battered. A couple of teams who played conceded 7 goals. It's the system, right? 4 is okay as long as you have the right midfielders, right? The problem we have with our midfielders is no defensive mid, so go out and buy one, whether it's Rice or someone else, go and buy one. Then you sit him there and you put attacking mids on either side of him, right? Whether that's Mount, Gallagher or Harvard. Those 3 are attacking mids. Let's not kid ourselves that they're forwards or anything like that, because they're not. They're attacking mids, right? Harvard's played as a emergency striker for Bayer Leverkusen when they had a striker injury crisis. And probably Tuchel watches German football, probably saw him and decided, well, hang on a minute, I can convert him. He has to stop all this. I'm going to convert this player. I'm going to convert that player, right? First program that we did, I said straight away, didn't I? I can ask Nick because we were going on other channels as well. I said that Sterling will end up playing inside. He won't stay wide. He'll move him inside, right? The guy's just been on. Sorry, I can't see because I'm using a mobile phone, right? He's on about the wingers. We don't play wingers, right? We waste wingers, and this is all to keep his system. We won at Real Madrid with a back 4, right? Yeah, we got knocked out because he went to extra time, but we won that game with a back 4. We won at Middlesbrough in the Cup with a back 4. We beat Tottenham 3 times with a back 4, right? We won other cup games with a back 4. We had a back 4 against Brentford in the Cup, Carabao, I think it was, right? So it works. It works. And Rudiger played a lot of them games. So this is some kind of a fallacy that we can't play with a back 4. It's because Tuchel doesn't want to play with a back 4. What was the first thing he asked for when he Bowley? He said he wanted 3 centre halves. Why is he asking for 3 centre halves? Right? When you've already got what, 2 there, 3. Turn it down a bit. So why is he asking for 3 centre halves? We had Chaloba, we had Silva, and Ampadu can play as a centre half, right? So why is he asking for 3 centre halves? So now he's going to end up getting 2, because I don't fancy our chances of getting 3 before the window closes, right? So he's going to have to change. If you're going to play a back 3, you need more centre halves, because you need 2 people for each position, 2 centre half, 3 centre half positions, you know, on 5 or 6 centre halves. If you're playing with a back 4 and you've got 2 centre halves, then you only need 4, right? It's this obsession with this system. And also mentioned was the fact we need a striker, right? He had a striker, right, last year, who started off very well, right? And yeah, he went and did that interview, which was nothing. Believe me, I've seen the transcript. Nothing near what people are saying, right? And he became disillusioned. And when you publicly turn around and say, I'm not changing the team to suit one man, one player, you're basically calling out that one player and saying he's not adapting, he's not playing the way I want him to play. So you're calling him out. And if someone like Lukaku, he can be temperamental, right? And he can be a bit, he's one of these who likes to be lauded and have an arm put around him and all this kind of stuff, right? But he called him out. And if you were changing the system, you weren't changing it to suit just Lukaku. You were changing it to suit Pulisic, to suit Ziyech, right? You can move back Reece James and Chilwell or Cucurella now, right, to the full-back positions. And if you've got two wingers and two attacking midfielders, a forward and two attacking full-backs, when you're attacking with 7 players, right? And that still leaves three. One of the midfielders, right, drops in to cover whichever fullback's gone forward. Makaleli used to do it all the time. He covered the whole width of the pitch, and he was always in the right place, right? So with the right person, you can do that. But this system, he likes us to sit on the halfway line, right? And teams are pressing us on the halfway line, moving in the ball behind the 3 defenders, the centre backs, and they're exploiting the spaces and they're leaving the goalkeepers exposed. Whether that was Mendy or whether it was Kepa or whether it was bloody somebody else, you could go and sign another keeper. They're still going to be exposed because of that system. Because the system is there for the German league, where all the teams play high lines, right? So basically, a lot of their games are played in the middle of the park, and it's a game of chess where you're trying to press each other into mistakes and get in behind the spaces, and that's what Arsenal have done to us. That's what Arteta's done in the friendly. He did it in the league game, and he did it the season before when they beat us 1-0, right? If we didn't have Lukaku, the game at the Emirates could have been different, right? He totally destroyed their centre back, right? And if we hadn't won that game, we could have been in trouble. So this system is not working. It's a Champions League system, right? Or an international system. And even then, international a lot of them still play with a back four. And we're being exposed, and teams have learned how to counter it. And he did it yesterday against a coach who knows exactly the way he's going to play, and he plays it himself occasionally when he was in Germany, and he knew how to expose the system. And Tuchel didn't stop and think to himself, oh, well, hang on, this is Jesse March, ex-Leipzig coach. He knows how I'm going to react. He knows what I'm going to do. He didn't, did he? He just carried on the same way as usual, and then he put Reece James, right, who against Tottenham was possibly our best attacking player along with Cucurella, right? And he goes and puts him at right centre-back, and he's left Chalobah on the bench, and you've got Ethan Ampadu in his house in London somewhere. This isn't right. Right? We have players that we can have in the B list who are under 21, right? And then you can still have your main players, right, in the main squad. Like Callum Hudson-Odoi was in the B list last year, and we still had 25, right? So you can have all these players that he trusts, but don't be just throwing away these young lads and not giving them a chance, right? When you can include them. Personally speaking, I think he's treated Ampadu and Billy Gilmore abysmally. And both of those two lads could have done a good job for him yesterday. I'd rather have had them two as the two pivots and let Gallagher go further forward, maybe replace Mount, add a bit more energy up top. But no, he's going to do it his way, and we just have to accept it. But one thing I'm not going to accept, I ain't going to just sit there, right, and just say, oh, yeah, he knows what he's doing. When he gets his players, right, and it's his team, right. I heard on one channel today, a lot of these players are played for Conte, Sarri, Lampard. They're not his players. How many of that squad played for Conte? How many? It's ridiculous to come out with a comment like that. Like all the coaches go in and they have to make do with what they've got, right? And they get maybe 2-3 players, just like Ancelotti did last year. He lost Varane, right? He lost that Ramos idiot, right? Hazard was injured again. Bale was never fit. So basically he's gone in, and yeah, he knows some of the players and what he can get out of them, but he played a system which he wanted to play but suited the squad. We don't do that. Tuchel's going to put wingers in as inside forwards. He's going to play right wing back or left wing back, whatever you want to call him, right at right centre half, left centre half. He did it with Emerson in some cup games. He played Emerson as a centre half, right? This has to stop. Play to your squad strengths. It's not about you proving that you're some super coach who can adapt players, right, to play in different positions and show yourself as a genius. Your main job is to take those players you've got available, adapt them and use them to the best strengths that they've got, right, and win. You get your legendary status by winning things. And like, okay, I enjoyed winning the Club World Cup because we hadn't won it before, right? Super Cup was a bit less. But remember, we drew that game and we needed Kepa to win it for us, right? 10 games that won 3 trophies. One was a 1 game, one was 2 games, 7 games in the Champions League, which he lost 1 and drew 1, right? Let's not get carried away. And people will turn around and say, oh, but the system worked because we won the Champions League with it. This isn't the Champions League. This is the Premier League, the English Premier League. Not one team will lie down and die for you, right? And every single team, even at times Norwich, right, could hurt teams as well last year. And this isn't the Champions League where you can play that system and get away with it. This is the Premier League. Teams are going to go for the throat every opportunity. Like West Ham, we scored twice. People say we don't score. That's why we lose. We scored twice and we lost because Mendy was beaten from outside the box because Jorginho didn't pick up Bowen, right? Then he punched the winner into his own goal with both fists, right? I've watched that time and time again and I've paused it. And he tries to punch it and he punches it into his own net. And then the penalty, Jorginho's back pass, right? Another nonsense. So Mendy isn't solely to blame, but for me, somebody who scores penalties, right, and plays the occasional good pass, right, and you keep getting people say, yeah, but he controls the tempo of the game. There is no tempo of the game when a team sits low block and in numbers. But yesterday, Leeds high pressed. They played their fast tempo, and he couldn't control it, could he? He got nowhere near anybody, and he couldn't control anything. He's done. He needs to go back to Italy and play in that slow-mo league. That's where Jorginho needs to be. But no, he trusts him, so he'll play him. And anybody who's going to now tell me that Jorginho is vital to what we do, well, you saw that yesterday because he didn't control the tempo, did he? Just like he didn't control the tempo West Ham away, just like he didn't control tempo Real Madrid at home, and just like he didn't control the tempo in a lot of other embarrassing games. Right? There's no tempo. He looks good, and he looks like he's controlling the tempo when teams are sitting low block, but he doesn't create anything. Right? If he's a register, he's there to play like the ball Conor Gallagher played, like the ball Kevin De Bruyne played yesterday for their 3rd goal, I think it was. Right? These are the kind of balls you're expecting from Jorginho. I know he's not a Kevin De Bruyne. Right? I know he hasn't got that vision. I know he hasn't got that range of passing. Right? So why are we going to we attack players who've been asked to play out of position, and then we laud the players who make the mistakes, actual mistakes, right? And I just don't get it. I've been like Nick, been watching 50 years. I've seen everything, good times, bad times. I've seen us really poor, right? Almost getting relegated to the 3rd division on the last day of the season. I've seen us go down a couple of times. I've seen us come back up. So I've seen it all. I've seen us get knocked out of the cup, embarrassingly, against teams like Scarborough. 2-0 up away to Scarborough, and with 15 minutes to go, we lost 3-2. So I've seen it all, right? And yesterday was poor. And it's because I'm starting to feel, I feel it, right, that he's lost the players and he's losing their trust, right, and they don't believe in his system. Because we won the Champions League, right, people believed in the system, but that started turning last season when we started losing league games to it. So for me, he's lost the players, and even if they still like him and all that kind of stuff, I don't think they believe in his system or the way he sets up the team. And on that channel that I was only in the chat, wasn't in the on the panel, right? But I put in the chat that Lampard lost his players because of the way bad man management, and I said, "Is someone going to tell me that Tuchel, like, hasn't lost players? Like, he's definitely lost Pulisic, he's lost Ziyech, and you can all dismiss them or they're wasters or whatever, but he's lost them for a reason." But when I made that comment and the channel host read it out, somebody on the panel jumped in, right, and he said that there's a report that two certain players who you wouldn't believe are not happy with Tuchel, and eventually named them Mason Mount and Reece James. And Reece James is probably fed up of playing this role, that role, backwards, forwards, all this stuff. The players want to play where they feel comfortable, and that's when your team's most effective. That's when your team performs in positions they're comfortable in, right? Not a system, right? 4-3-3 is a system, but it's an adaptable system, right? 3-4-2-1, whatever. As long as you can adapt on that system, it's still okay. But he doesn't. He wants the two wing backs to provide the width, and he's got wingers playing in the middle, right? And our fan base want to slag off the players because Tuchel won the Champions League. Nice, well done, congratulations. What system did Roberto Di Matteo use to win the Champions League? It wasn't 3-4, whatever, was it? Right, and he won the FA Cup. He went one further, and he was gone 6 months later because we failed to qualify from the group stage, and we ended up in the Europa, and he was gone. And he was in relation to Tuchel, he was a virtual novice coach, but because the players, right, wanted to win it, they believed in what was being done, and they performed, and they outperformed Barcelona. They fought back against Napoli, right? All these Benfica, if I remember rightly, right? They wanted it, and why did they want that? Because they had it drilled in them, going as far back as Mourinho. He left that winning mentality there, right? And that's why. And those players continued because they still believed in what they were doing. And Di Matteo was defensive, right? But they believed in that. That was the way that we could get. And then to come back against Napoli the way we did, right? To score 2 goals away to Barcelona, it shows there was a finished product to it as well. It wasn't just about the defence, right? And defending. This system in, he either has to find a way of adapting it, right? Or he goes out, signs a DM, right, and stops saying midfield's not a problem because he doesn't want to use someone like Billy Gilmore or whatever, right? If he signed this Italian lad, right, and he signed Chukwuemeka. Let's see him if he uses him. Let's see if he uses him. Let's see if he has any belief in them. Right, he's lucky because I'll guarantee you that Roman wouldn't allow it. So he's lucky. He can thank Boris Johnson because Roman would not allow this. And Roman would know that he's lost the players. Right, that's what Czech did. And I'm convinced that Marina and Pericek left by the hand of Tuchel. I'm sure that he had a hand in it, right? So I'm sorry, but we can give him another 2 years, give him 5-year extension, all that's going to end up happening is he gets paid a nice payoff when he gets fired. Question is, how long is Bowley willing to put up with it? I can't get my head around his stubbornness, his lack, right, of wanting to change things. Right, you can do it in mid-game. Yeah, he went to a back four, right, but we were already in trouble. Same against Arsenal in the pre-season friendly. We started with a back four, but he had Gallagher and he had Jorginho sitting in front of them. So they don't perform. The defence doesn't get any protection. Silva clears the ball. It goes to, I think it was Jorginho, and the ball's coming straight back at him because Jorginho's pressed, and they go and score. Jorginho just hasn't got anything. He hasn't got anything. He only looks good when you've got Kante or Kovacic to bail him out. And they read the game, that side of the game, better than Gallagher ever will. Gallagher's a great prospect, great player, but those are not going to read the game as well as him. Is that a question from Green Turf?
Yeah, sure. Thank you,
What's
Star.
that? What's Green Turf saying? I can see my name, but I can't see the rest of it. Okay, talking a lot of sense. Right. Normally, I get
Sure.
told I'm talking out my backside. We have to get over this. The guy won us the Champions League 18 months ago. If the players can't live on that, there's no reason why the coach should, right? And as much as I like winning those other two trophies that he won, they took 3 games to win. One was a draw, but the most important thing for me was that Roman walked away having won it all. I've seen us win the Super Cup, right? It's nothing. It's a nothing. It's worth 2 or 3 million. It's not going to like fill your bank up. And FIFA, the Club World Cup, you know that the Club World Cup, right, is going to be expanded to 24 teams. It's going to become a summer tournament with 24 teams, and it was supposed to be next year, and it was going to be in China, but China have said they can't stage it. So the Club World Cup, right, is so unimportant in its current format that they want to expand it to 24 teams. So you're going to end up with the winners from the last 4 or 5 years are going to be in it. The European champions, all the champions from all the different confederations, right? Let's not get carried away with winning that Club World Cup. We played teams that had already played games days before, and we were going in fresh, right? So let's not get carried away with that. Yeah, it's nice. We can say we're world champions, right? And nobody takes it seriously unless it's their team that wins it. So when Liverpool won it, yeah, they're the world champions. Chelsea win it, nah, they're not the world champion. Because it's not that major a competition. The major things he's done was win the Champions League and lose 3 finals. Okay, 2 of them are on penalties. And you can say we were unlucky, and some people blame Kepa. Kepa come on with a Carabao Cup cold, stone
Hey,
cold.
you man, it's 1-0 Man United, you know.
Is it? I'm not surprised.
Listen, Liverpool fans, I don't want to hear it, bro. I'm telling you.
Well,
Van Dijk, best centre back in the world. Allow it, man got 8 million grasped by Sancho, you know.
yeah. Certified. Let's just stick to Chelsea for now. Just give us the running score, but stick to Chelsea, right?
I can't be happy about Chelsea right now, can I?
Ten Hag is a good coach, right? The idiots upstairs need to back him, right? They need to back him. If they get him another 3 or 4 players, he's not going to win anything this year. It's going to be the same as us, right? But that squad, it's like a poor man's, what's that thing they call the Real Madrid players? They've got a nickname, haven't they? Real Madrid, right? I can't remember what they call them. Well, Man U's like a cheap version. They're Galacticos. Man U's a poor man's Galacticos in the players' minds, right? So if they support him and give him some money next year, and I'm saying now, next year Man U will be a threat, right? Top four. And that top four battle is starting to widen. And unless Mr. Tuchel wakes up, right, and becomes more adaptable and uses the players to the best of their abilities and stop humiliating people like Ampadu, right, and Billy Gilmore, Tuchel's going to find out that he's going to be outside that top four. I mean, I know Nick insists that we're still going to finish second, and he probably still does, even after yesterday's performance. We need somebody, and that's the coach, because he's the man who calls the shots. He's the man who picks the teams. He's the man who picks the tactics. He needs to wake up. This is not the Bundesliga. This is not League One, right? It's not even La Liga, and it's certainly not Serie A. This is the toughest league in the world, right? Where everybody's a threat. And virtually any coach can work out what you're going to do, right? We've been sussed. His system's been sussed. And I can't just keep making excuses for him and say he needs to get his players, right? I can't keep saying that. How many players does he need to get? How many players does he need to get? Are we going to give him a full 25-man squad before we can turn around and say this is his team? Every manager goes into a club and has to deal with players from the previous manager or the previous two managers, right? Every manager does that, right? Brian Clough won 2 European Cups, and all he did was buy one player a season, 2 players. He went into Nottingham Forest and took over somebody else's team, and he won Division 1. He won Division 1 with Derby, with somebody else's team. You can't keep excusing it that they're not his players. He has his players. They're at the training ground. Right? He sees them at the training ground. He knows what they can do. Right? Use them to the best of their ability, not your system. To the best of their ability that they play best at. This has to stop. And all this like, oh, but it's not his team. That has to stop. That has to stop. Because Ancelotti won La Liga, right? And the Champions League with Zidane's team. Yeah, he knew some of the players from before, but he hadn't been there for nearly 5 years. So let's get over this. He has to have his own team. He's got 3 players already, right? And he's got Chugamega and he's got the Italian Casati, whatever his name is, right? But he won't trust those 2. He won't play them. So what's the argument going to be then? Oh, but they're young. No, you've signed them, you've paid good money for them. Use them. If he doesn't use them in the Carabao Cup, right, which isn't long off now, because we're due to join it now in the next 2 or 3 weeks. If he doesn't use those 2 in that, then I have no belief in him using any young lads. Ampadu's a full international. Why are we sending him away? Why? He's a full international. Billy Gilmore's a full international. Don't give me these, he's too small nonsense. Some of you will have seen Dennis Wise. Dennis Wise was a right little jerk, right? He never left you alone. He was on your case. He was jumping all over you on the pitch. You never had a minute's peace. His size didn't stop him. This has to stop. You've got good players there who we're going to give away for peanuts, right? And don't be surprised if there's no buybacks in there. I know Roman and Marina and that released players, right? Tomori wanted to go. Billy Gilmore didn't, did he? He returned just like Gallagher. Both said they want to fight for their players and show themselves in pre-season. Tomori wanted to go. Livramento wanted to go. Mark Gui wanted to go. Not everybody wants to stay, right? But when you've got some lads who want to fight for their players, and they've got heart and they've got talent. Don't dismiss them because he's 5'4" or 5'5". It's a nonsense, absolute nonsense. And I'm not like, I've given him 18 months, right? Even from then, when he won the Champions League, I said he needs to change that system, right? But he won't. Come August last year, he didn't, right? And now he's doing the same thing again. Just carry on the way you are, Tuchel, and just carry on watching us get beat. And it might be the players sometime. Some of them might have a bit of an attitude, but that's because they don't want to play for you anymore. It's because they want to play in a system they're comfortable with, in a system they can win with. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. I want to win, right? There's not a single manager, right, apart from Rafael Benitez, because of what he said about Chelsea fans, right? And even him, I wanted to win because I want to win trophies. After 26 years of winning nothing, we started winning the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and things like that. And then Roman come in and we won the big ones. We started winning the big ones. We were challenging most years. That's not going to happen because people, and it pains me, but people like Arteta, right, have caught up, right? Conte, right? Remember the way they finished last season? He's got the full season now. Yeah, okay, they started it. They were a bit lucky against us, a lot lucky, right? But they still ground out the result. If that had been us, whether the referees gave it to us or not, we would be crowing about it. Because everyone wants to win. Not everyone can win. Some of us have to settle for fourth in the Champions League. But the way he's going, we're not going to do that. And I tell you what, we're going to play better teams than Leeds with better coaches who know us even better because they've played against us already more than once. So this has to change. He has to change. I can't just keep backing him. I've backed him for 18 months. I'll give him another season, right? But I will criticise him when he gets something wrong and he's getting things wrong and he's chasing the players off. Right? I can feel it. I can see it in them. When we concede a goal and the heads drop, it's because they've lost the belief in the way we're playing. Anyway, someone else take over. I'm getting too emotional.
Right, Steph. Nice one from you. You said the truth. You said
Thought
nothing
I
but the
was,
truth.
thought I was talking to myself for a minute there.
Big respect to you. I was listening, and I was speechless after what you just said. It is what we actually need in the team. We're suffering. The team is really suffering. The team doesn't look good. It looks destroyed. Taxcard year. You can go on Taxcard G. The question is,
Oh yeah.
when we go 4-3-3, we are about to. I feel like we need a defensive midfielder to protect our defense. What do you think about the statement? Tiago said
Oh
the statement. Think.
Yeah, but
oh
hang
yeah,
on.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Before he says anything, let me just say this. He's the one who said midfield's not a problem. So he can't see that. All of us, thousands of miles away, watching on TV, all those people who go to the stadium can see that defensive mid is a problem. And he's saying midfield's not a problem because he'll just experiment with somebody else, right? Next game he'll probably stick Chaloba in there and experiment with him or Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Just play players in their position. If we haven't got a defensive mid, go buy one, right? We need another centre back, yeah. I'll accept that. Even if we're going to play four at the back, we still need another centre back. Someone with a bit of pace, someone with a bit of height, someone with a bit of control of aerial balls, right? So we need that. And we need a striker. That's three positions. Now he's likely to go and get Aubameyang and play him somewhere else. probably play him right wing back or something. It's infuriating. Will he play him as a striker? I doubt it. He'll carry on with the same system. So the three up top, right, are basically a false nine and two inside forwards, or three interchanging inside forwards, and they're all bloody wingers. It's too much experimenting. Just get your players to go, set your team up, and then I'm not gonna make him any more excuses for you. He's going to get three more players. He's bought three plus the two young guys. That's 8 players, right? I'm not talking Hutchinson and that. I'm talking Chukwuemeka and Kasaragi, not Kasaragi, Kasaga, whatever his name is, right? So you've got to have them two because we paid good money for them, and you're not going to stick them in the under 23s, right? So he's got them. He's got three already. He'll get three more. He'll end up with 8 players, which he's probably chose. So he's got no more excuses. Prove me wrong. Come on, Tuchel. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Good points, man. Good points. I can't touch on. I can't respond to everything because, like you touched on a multitude of points, and good on you, man. Your analysis was really good. As for the question that Magnificent asked, to the host question, yeah, I think we can play a 4-3-3 because if you look at it, I think it was just a question. It was just a matter of giving as is it Steve? Is it Steve or Stav? Stav, probably. Yeah, like what he said. He said, give the players a chance. I mean, don't treat them so harshly, and that's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, Ampadu can play DM. Billy Gilmore can play the 6. I mean, yeah, he's not the most physical. He's not the tallest, but he gave Liverpool a run for their money the other day. Sent what's his name again? The Liverpool DM. What's that guy's name? He's such a good player though.
Fabinho.
Fabinho, exactly. Thanks. Fabinho. He sent Fabinho right around the world. You know, in that other game. You know what I mean? He was really good, and I think a lot of us Chelsea fans were tired of selling players and they go be starters in some other team and we buy some other player and they're gonna fail and this and that. I mean, look, we bought Bakayoko, he was not it. Look, we were trying to play Jorginho there. Clearly in some games it is not it. And I think that in a 4-3-3, we're better off with Gilmore as playing a holding midfield position. And even if we decide not to play him in a holding midfield position, I think we can still play like with 2 holding midfielders and maybe like one advanced midfielder, right? Yeah, I think a 4-3-3 is possible. The only reason, and I'm not trying to defend Tuchel, I just think the only reason that we can't play a 4-3-3 is that our defenders before Koulibaly came in, they don't really attack the ball. They don't really close down the opposition. Yes, Aspie is great in a one-on-one situations, but we kind of need that aggressive defender. You know what I mean? That Virgil van Dijk type of defender, the defender who can win you the ball, intercept, just be an overall presence there. You know what I mean? Like a Kimbappe. You know, Kimbappe does that. Fofana does that. The other player who does that is what's his name? That snake who went to Barcelona, Jules Koundé. He does that. So I think that type of profile in a defender can absolutely guarantee us to be more successful in a back 4. And that's not to say that we haven't been successful, as clearly as Steve or Sav said that he's mentioned a number of games that we've been successful in a back 4, and yes, sometimes we lose in a back four. But for me, you lose football games either way. Big team, small team, whether you're a big team or you're a small team, you lose football games either way, whether you play differently or not. I mean, look, we play with three centre backs and we're beating 3-0. So clearly, it's not about um, just formation. Rather, um, I think it's high time we do play a back four. And I think all we need to do basically, guys, is get Billy Gilmore in, and he needs to definitely pair up with Mount and what's his name, Mount and Gallagher. Yeah, those two, because I feel like, listen, if we play a back four and we have a three-man midfield, even if we don't have Kante, um the fact that we have got pacey players in and around, energetic players in and around that midfield area will definitely make the difference for us. And it's something that we spoke about before the um, the Leeds game and the Tottenham game. Actually, I think Magnificent was there. I told him that, hey yo, man, I think Reece James will absolutely kill it at right centre back. Yes, that means we're losing a creative player going forward, but he does have the qualities to play in that right center back role. The other player who I would like to see is Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell can actually head the ball. You know what I mean? He can actually head the ball. I like to see him play left center back. Sometime as well. I know it sounds a bit crazy. Yeah, it does, but he's capable. He's definitely capable of playing that role, and he can actually create from a deeper position. You know what I mean? So in terms of that, yeah, in terms of that, but to address the issue, if we're playing a 4-3-3, we're gonna need proper wingers. We're gonna need proper wingers. I know you touched on the point of inside forwards. Yeah, cool. That, yeah, but I don't think that they are that good. I don't think they are that effective. I think you need proper wingers in the Premier League. I think you need a man who can take on his man, beat them one on one, do a few dribbles. You know what I mean? Get the ball in quick. You know what I mean? That's what we need to play a 4-3-3. So you can see that the dynamics of a 4-3-3 aren't that simple. You're gonna need at least one center back who absolutely can attack the ball if need be, not a complacent center back, like conservative type of stay in a position, mark the space. Yes, that is needed, but you're gonna need one who is capable of closing down and winning the ball back. So that's one position that's needed. Uh, Considering the midfield, you're gonna need to either play a midfielder who can release the ball quicker than Jorginho, and that is Billy Gilmore, or rather, play a two-man like pivot and one advanced midfielder. And yeah, in midfield, there are three or so type of setups that you can do to solve a situation whereby you don't have Kante, because Kante and Jorginho, he's working overtime. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. You need to pair up Kante with these young lads who are very fast. You know what I mean? Yes, he is very fast. He can do a job, but you're going to need to preserve him. You're going to need to think a little bit smarter about it. You know what I mean? Be tactical, be a little bit more strategies needed. And yeah, and concerning the front three, definitely are going to need, at least we got Sterling. So that's one. Aubameyang, like I'm saying, I don't think he's the perfect number 9. I don't see him as that. I see him more of a guy who plays on the wings, who is capable of doing more on the wings. So you can see that in from back to front, there is a little bit of restructuring that needs to go on, but for the most part, as Steve or Seth say, that the manager actually needs to wake up. I agree with that 110%. The manager needs to wake up. There are players who are capable of doing a job. There are players who play internationally and they are no mugs. They're not trash. They are not I think we gotta get this idea that, oh, you're not good enough to play for Chelsea, or that listen, he I think and I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think that Tuchel is purposely playing these players in roles where they're not good, and purposefully playing a structure which is not good, in order to get transfers, in order to get more signings in? I mean, is this a strategy from the manager, or is the manager just out of options, or is it out of an idea, basically? I like Magnificent. You can answer, and then Steve.
All right. Tasker J, nice one from you. Um, I don't think he's trying to play it smart by, you know, playing this force position, making these silly mistakes. I don't think he's trying to play smart. But what I obviously think right now is he's not ahead of ideas yet. He still got it in him. He's always being stubborn. There was a point where a coach, who was the coach? Was it Conte or Mourinho, which cost him his job? He sees this kind of thing, this kind of situation was happening, where he was supposed to change, tweak his system, tweak his system rather. He was supposed to change the system overall, but he believed in his own system. That was what happened with Sarri, where we had Sarri ball. It got to a point Sarri ball wasn't working anymore. You know, the coach should come. I think they are always scared to come out with new ideas. They're always scared about what people will say when they fail. You know, when you play a particular system, and for like a season, and the system stop working. Afterwards, you try to change the system, and probably the system you change to doesn't work. They begin to ask questions of the coach, of his technical ability, of his um, game reading ability. Right from last season, Tuchel's system has been exposed. The solution was stop the wing backs for playing, and try to isolate um um try to isolate Jorginho in the midfield. Try to pressure him. Then opponents gets ball off him easily in technical area. Yesterday game, I'm still gonna fault Mendy and Jorginho. Jorginho like making back passes even when he is not being pressured. Our professional players in that position should know Mendy isn't good with his foot. It wasn't really Jorginho's fault, but I'm always faulting Jorginho because he likes going back. He likes playing back. You don't need to play from the back when you are about to attack. You can always find the nearest man to pass the ball to. His choice wasn't his fault. It was Mendy's fault. But all the same, Jorginho is way outdated in this team. We need an upgrade for Jorginho. One other thing I'm very I don't know about is why Tuchel likes to play player out of their positions. I keep asking myself, an intelligent Guardiola would know this sort of players doesn't like to do this. We have players that likes to run in our team. Players like Ziyech, players like Pulisic, players like Odoi. You know, we have several of them that loves to run. Players like Mount. These players are not making runs. Why? Because the system doesn't give them that opportunity to move freely. The only players making those runs are our wing back, which is making it so difficult for us to stop, for us to score goals. Because if our wing back are not doing the attacking, then they are not gonna get goals. Our attackers are not gonna get goals. They hardly get goals. If you bring Ronaldo into this team today, I'll tell you if something is not done, Ronaldo is not going to get the goals he wants because the system has been isolated in a way. That was why Tuku said he doesn't want a striker. He needs someone who can play a first nine because he knows it will be difficult to get a striker that will score 15, 12 goals for you in this kind of formation he plays. The best solution for Tuchel to do now is to play around the players. Look for what can suit these players. We can play 4-4-2, we can play 4-1-2-3, 4-1-3. We can play several formations. Don't rely on your 4-3-3, your three. I think that system, three back, has been it's outdated in England. You can only have the likes of Conte playing such, not an elite club like Chelsea. Tuchel should find a better solution soon because if this goes on for a while more, I think a decision will be made, and the decision won't be nice. We have players, we have a wide squad, we have young lads. Lampard tried these young lads, and look at what they did. We were still able to qualify for to qualify for Champions League football. I think Tuchel needs to go back to the drawing board and see what is wrong, and he needs to start taking responsibilities. He was responsible for the loss against Leeds. He was responsible for it. We saw this coming when we had Kovacic and Kante out of the game. We knew Jorginho was not gonna do anything in the match. Look at what he's got us. Look at what Mendy too is doing. I think Mendy needs to be benched for a while. He needs to be benched for a while. Bring in Kepa. Let's see what Kepa can do for a while. The whole thing needs sorry, reevaluation. I'll let staff go.
What do you want to know? I don't really care about Mendy. In his last season at Rennes, 80% of his kicks, when 80% of the balls he played with his feet were up the pitch, 80%. And even when he goes long, his distribution's poor as well. He's just as likely to hit an opposing player as he is one of his own players. So if you want Mendy to play with his legs, with his feet, right, that's what Tuchel wants him to do. Forget it. I just tell him go long. At least if he hits an opposing player, it's all the way up the pitch, and it's not going to come straight back at him or straight back at our defence. So 80% out of all balls played with his feet will go up the top of the pitch, clearing. And the Conte plays the same system, formation-wise, but he plays with two wide men. He plays with the wing backs pushing in behind wide men. He hasn't got three men playing centrally. They all three move around and they go out wide and they go long. And sometimes they'll play the ball into midfield and the midfielder will play straight to the front three. Right, we have to take God knows how many passes to get up there. And by the time we've got up the ball up the pitch, they've got the other team that's reorganised itself into low block in numbers. We make it easy for teams to defend against us. I mean, yesterday, I think was it every game? Pardon me. I think every game last season we scored first in the first half. Yesterday was the first time in a long time that we went behind early on. I mean, even at West Ham when we lost 3-2, we went ahead twice. Turn it down a bit. So when he came in, he said he wants to make us a team that everybody finds horrible to play against. Well, I think they're finding it quite easy now. a lot of teams won't be that worried about playing against us. But I tell you what, he's boring the backside off me sometimes, because back in the last season, I was bored. I couldn't watch us. The football was boring. And if you can't get players like Ziyech, Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi, if you give him the ball, right, and you tell him to run with it, he will run with it, right? And if you can't get that kind of player, and you can't get the best out of Mason Mount, who's actually an attacking midfielder, and Havertz because they're playing out of position, and then you bring in Sterling and you're playing him down through the middle, you're playing Gallagher, instead of letting him attack, he's sitting back. Right, you've got an opportunity here now, right? Where Chilwell we could easily go with a back four, Chilwell and Reece James left and right back, and you can move Cucurella into one of the three on the left of the midfield, right? Doesn't have to be Mason Mount or Havertz. you allow him to attack as well. We've got players you can move further forward and they can attack, right? It doesn't mean you don't have fullbacks as well. Look at the Mourinho teams. He only ever played one system, 4-3-3, right? But he adapted it, so he wasn't scared of taking, if we were behind, taking a defender off, going three at the back, chase the game, and the minute you got in front, he'd go back forward again, like he did in the Carling Cup final against Liverpool when Gerrard scored that own goal. That was because he was pressured into it, right? Mourinho's last league title, we started off really well. We played attractive football, attacking football, right? Like the 6-3 or whatever it was at Everton, right? And we lost 5-3 at Tottenham. And the minute we lost that game 5-3 at Tottenham and the attacking football wasn't working, he went more defensive because he knew he had to. And then he started relying, because Costa and Cesc Fabregas went on holiday on the pitch. They weren't performing the way they were in the first 5-6 months of the season. So he relied on Hazard and people like Willian and that to like try and get us out of games. And he changed it. And we went for getting the ball forward quick. And we won the league because everybody was losing games. Tottenham, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, everybody was losing to each other. And there was no one was settling on top and looking like they were like going to take control of the league. So he changed it. And that's what I mean. Just because something worked at the beginning of the season doesn't mean you have to use it the whole season when teams start realising how to play against it. Everybody's played you once by December, whether that's home or away. They've all seen how you're playing. They then play you, and they find ways of playing against you. And that's what's happened to Tuchel. Too many teams, right, have realised how we play. They realise our weaknesses. They realise where they should pressurise us. And that's just the way it is. But Tuchel is so stubborn that his system will work. Fine. Carry on playing that system, right? And if it's not working, ultimately it's your fault. Don't blame people you're playing out of position. Don't blame people who become unhappy, right? Because you don't use them correctly. So it then becomes your responsibility. It's like yesterday we were the best team in the first 20 minutes, he said, but we stopped doing what we were supposed to do, which means we were all right when I have to follow my instructions, but the minute they stopped following my instructions, we weren't doing the right things. So I didn't see no difference. Apart from the first 5 minutes, right, from 5-10 minutes onwards till the 90th minute, it was the same mess. It was the same mess. So don't just turn round. Same thing when we lost 4-0 to Arsenal, right, in the pre-season. He turned around and he said, we've got players here who want to be somewhere else, They don't want to play for us. They don't want to be here, right? So basically, he's hanging out the players to dry, right? And yet, in that first half, only Werner started that game out of the ones who wanted moves. Only Werner. So you couldn't excuse being 2-0 down at half time because players wanted to leave, because only Werner was playing in the first half. So yeah, he started going sly little digs, right? Not open attacks on players and stuff like that, but he's starting to have sly little digs at the players in public. Once you start doing that, right, you can get away with it, like when Mourinho did it to Joe Cole, because we were still winning, and Joe Cole realised, yeah, I'm making mistakes. Yeah, I need to listen to him. But when you're not winning and you're still trying to blame the players for everything, you're going to lose them. And that's what he's done. He's lost them. He might have 5, 6 who still believe in him. Obviously, the new guys are going to believe in him because they don't know what's been going on. But all the rest, they've been there 2 seasons, some of them 3 seasons, like since Lampard came in. Forget the Sarri bit. I'm on about as a unit. They've either been together 2 or 3 years. And whether you like it or not, they don't like you as a manager hanging out some of their teammates to dry, right? Yeah, okay, you might have some 2 or 3 players who don't get on with each other. They might like it and all that kind of stuff that you're calling them. But the majority won't like it because they've basically been playing together since the Lampard days, right? And you can't keep doing that. And that's what he started doing. And every time I watch it, like yesterday, because they had another game on, I didn't see his interview until later. And he was ranting. Basically, I watched his interview and he was ranting. He was basically just going off on one thing, then going off on another. This isn't right, that's not right. We didn't do this, we didn't do that. When you say we didn't do, what you're saying is the players didn't do as I asked them to, right? The players will do what you ask them to, right? If they're playing in their normal positions, if they know you trust them, if they know that you believe in them, right? And you're giving them the chance and the freedom to express themselves. Pulisic, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi, all these guys, and no, we're not even allowed to express themselves. Now they're all going to end up gone. And Werner worked his socks off whenever he was on that pitch, and he couldn't get the best out of them. I mean, that's because he had no belief in them, and he didn't show belief in them. So nobody wants to see him sacked. Nobody wants to keep calling him out. But he's got to accept some responsibility. Sometimes turn around and say, I got it wrong. Just like Pep did during after the Champions League, right? And even then, there was parts of that game, they were the better team. If Rudiger hadn't taken out Kevin De Bruyne, God knows what would have happened. You had saving tackles from all 3 of the centre-backs, Christensen, Aspie and Tony Rudiger. They all made last-gasp tackles or blocks, right? So, yeah, it was great to win it, but let's not get carried away like we dominated the game and we dominated Manchester City, right? And we were like the winners, right, by a clear margin, because we weren't. The game was tight. And he just seems to, he can't, I get frustrated because him, i.e. Tuchel, and a lot of the fan base are still living off that Champions League thing 18 months ago. Needs to move on. He needs to say to himself, I'm getting things wrong. I need to change as
Okay,
well.
Steph.
Yeah, go on.
All right, Steph. Sorry to budge
That's
in.
right. No, go on.
We'll be ending the space soon. just one more questions to go, and we end the space. What do you think we should do in our next game? What should we change? We don't want this defeat anymore. What do you think we should change against Leicester City by next week? What should change in Chelsea football game?
against Leicester. Yeah, that's their name. The name's Leicester, right? I can't afford to lose that one because my wife's family are all from Leicester, right? So I'll have to go and hide in some corner. Um, do something different. Go flat back four. Play one DM. Play two attacking mids, two wingers, and a striker if Broja's fit or if Aubameyang comes in. But he's going to go in that game the same way. But what can I say? And please don't play Reece James at right centre back. We're at home, for God's sake. That's me done.
Okay, nice one, Steph. All right.
Is Taxi G, they're still there.
Oh yeah. Fantastic points, Stav, and magnificent. Great question. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Um, no matter what type of formation we play, it's up to the manager. Versus Leicester, listen. Chelsea's got a mentality problem. Sarri said it. Conte mentioned it. Tuchel hasn't come out and said it, like outright, but clearly he has been hinting at it with his little digs, as Stav mentioned. And guys, I don't think that we should always like change the manager when something's not working. Look at Pep. Look what they've bet with Man City. Yeah, for sure. The first years were not that pretty, but listen, he changed things up. He did what he had to do. He got the players who he got, and bam, bam, um, they're winning. They're competing for everything. So yeah, the road is long and hard, and we're gonna get there. Versus Leicester City, listen, no matter what type of formation we play, I don't think it matters. I think it's about the tactic. If one thing that I've seen over the years, wait and wallop always works. Hold out the opposition and hit them on the counter. That works. In that way, Pulisic is set free. Who's the other pacey player we have? I think it's only Pulisic, right? No, wait, Mount. Yeah, Mount is he's a pacey player. Wait and wallop. I mean, I think that's the best solution. I mean, if we're not good in possession, let's play on the counter. Let's play on the counter. Let's create some space for these attackers, and yeah, let's see what happens. Oh yeah, Sterling. Sterling's there. Yeah, he's a pacey player. Let's just play wait and wallop. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a good side to play what do you call counterattack football. You know what I mean? Any side can do it, especially these small teams. Was it Mexico? Bit Germany? You know what I mean? Just leaving, was it two or three players up top, everybody behind? These are the type of players that we have. These are the type of defenders that we have who are good in such a system. And I think that such a tactic will definitely work to our advantage. And thanks, Magnificent, for hosting this, and Nick. And I hope that next time, you know what I mean, we'll all be together, and also Stev and everybody else. Thanks, guys, but I have to run out right now. But it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure. Good talk. Good talk. Good talk.
All right, Tasky G, thank you very much, my man. Thank you for all what you've been saying. We've learned a lot. We've had a lot. Big up to Tobago. Big up to Liam Lane. Big up to the real Chelsea, which is Nick and Linda and for now. Big up to Krintov. Big up to Certified, big up to staff and Tasker G. You guys have been great. It's been great being on the show. We are here to talk about Chelsea. We're building a community. I would like our followers and listeners to just subscribe to our channels and like our videos, post everything we're doing. Like Nick to say, we just started the channel. We're growing day by day. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come up the channel. We don't mind who you are as long as you've got no bad bloods in you. You can be among the host as well. We love to talk about football. We love to talk about Chelsea. We've got senior Chelsea fans here like Staff and Nick. They've been a Chelsea fan from way way back. I respect these guys. Big up to them. Whatever you're listening from, you're watching from, you're streaming from. I say big up to all Chelsea fans. It's not gonna be like this, and it's not gonna end like this. There'll be certain improvements in ways that we could ever imagine. In a good ways. The team is still gonna improve. We're still in a transition period, so we should just hold on and see what the coach has to do. We should still outfit in the coach. He knows what he's doing. Nobody loves to lose. Nobody loves to lose. You know. We'll be back here again. Probably we'll be back here by Friday or Saturday. We'll be communicating it to everyone. It's been nice being on the show. Nick is not here. Is feeling kind of strong. I don't want to use the word ill. Let's just hope and pray for him. He should be with us in our next stream. Stav, have you got something to say before we leave?
Yeah, don't we play Saturday, so it'll have to be the Friday to preview the game.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna preview the game. I think we're gonna do that on Friday. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Or Saturday
hopefully
morning.
Friday.
I
So
will communicate that with Nick. You know.
yeah, that's it.
So
Let's just help this channel grow. That's why I'm on here. I'm hoping that I'm contributing to it. I've put it on the Facebook page that I run, so I don't know if how many people are coming, but I know Liam Lane. He always pops in, so and I talk to him quite a bit now. Um, yeah, let's hope the season improves, and we'll see what happens when he gets his players that he wants. But I'd like to, over the next, we've got 10 days left for the window. I'd like to hear that he's going for the DM. He's got his striker lined up. He's got his central defender lined up. He needs a DM, and he can't keep closing that aspect down. But apart from that, like I said, I'm willing to give him till the end of the season anyway. It's too late now anyway. Changing now is no use. So, but he has to prove me wrong. He needs to show that I'm wrong. As just things that I see and that I read generally from things I've seen in the past. So, yeah, maybe he will get it right. But he needs to start trusting those players. He needs to believe in them. And he needs to show that trust and belief. So anyway, I'm done now. All right. That's it, I'm finished. Speak to you Friday. Have a good evening. All right. Laters.
all right, staff. Nice to hear from you. Let's not forget. Nick got a surprise for us. Come next week. Coming this weekend. He's gonna be reporting live from Stamford Bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
All
live on Stamford Bridge. So we're gonna be doing our live show before the match, immediately before the match, and probably during halftime in the match, and after the match he's gonna be reporting live from Stamford Bridge. Big up
Yeah.
to that. We're getting bigger.
I know.
It's
I know
it's
it's
a
going
great thing. Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
sure.
sorted the ticket. I sorted the ticket out for
Oh,
him.
you're going as well, stuff.
No, I'm not going. But he's getting a ticket off a friend of mine, which I organised.
That's great. Yeah. I was
I'm
I
in
was glad
Cyprus.
when he informed me.
I'm in Cyprus, so. But
Uh,
yeah, I
uh,
knew he was going. hopefully it'll be better by then. Although I'm sure he'll
Yeah,
still
yeah.
go even if he's not.
Sure.
So
I hope he'll be better by then. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
yeah.
All right. We're about ending the show now. Thanks to
All right, mate.
everyone who has been listening. A big up to you. But I
Right.
say bye, everyone. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Night.